Just left Salt Lake City, heading up to our place, the Flying Iron Horse Ranch, which is about 10 minutes outside Park City. With the facility itself, with the property, we didn't purchase the lower 20 acres until maybe 2004, 2005, and you'll see it when we get there. It's pretty unique geographical features. You know, growing up, we always had a pair of skis and we always had bikes from my dad's racing career. And we always built racetracks. I mean, there's a story behind that, but, you know, growing up with not a lot, but having a racetrack and, you know, stuff to go ride, that was pretty fortunate. So being down in Salt Lake, you know, my dad's gonna find property that we can build a track, build a property, and have all that. So even though we live in Salt Lake City, the racetrack's still pretty close. I mean, within less than 30 minutes of a metropolitan area, and it's right on the river. It's gorgeous. I feel pretty lucky, and you know, we have the opportunity to share that with as many people as we can. So the piece of property he wanted his whole life, and when we moved down, he was able to work really, really hard. And the family that owned the property, we were able to do trade, built their home, built the boat storage for the marina. And over the period of, you know, several years, we were able to do kind of like trade and work off the cost of the land. So that's how we acquired the property, you know, and then building a racetrack was just second nature from all the event promoting that he did and racing. Fast forward another decade, and then there's another, you know, 120 acres behind us on the hillside that we were able to acquire. So in total, it's about 140, 150 acres right there on the river, and that constitutes, you know, technically the lower piece, the front yard, and the outdoor national track, essentially, that we've been working on. It wasn't like we bought a piece of property and started, you know, building everything. It took a long time, and it's been, you know, 16, 17 years of really hard work, and occasionally we get people up to come pick rocks and help us plant trees, but everything you're going to see has been done either by my dad or myself. So tens of thousands of hours in sweat equity building this place. So, you know, paralleling Interstate 80 here is where the property sits, just outside of Park City. We get a lot of the race trailers that come through, and they're coming back and forth from Washougal and Lakewood. I see the factory semis come by all the time, and if we're out working on the track, some of my buddies like Dave Ryan with the Husky trailer, he'll always give us a honk. So I know they're coming through, and it's just kind of fun. So it's kind of like this little hidden gem. Yeah, I'm gonna cross the Weber River right here. It's nice and pretty, and then we've been riding, you know, with KTM for many years, so that's why the gate's orange. But yeah, here we are. So we'll open her up and I'll take a gander. This is perfect. So we pull up to the property, right? Which the name itself, Flying Iron Horse Ranch, comes from two rock and roll songs. We've got Fly By Night, which is a Rush song. It was actually my dad's racing company back in the day, Fly By Night Racing. And then if you listen to the lyrics from Bon Jovi's Wanted Dead or Alive, he talks about on a steel horse I ride. Well, instead of steel horse, we used iron horse, so that's what motorcycles are. And so Flying Iron Horse Ranch automatically implies, you know, motorcycles, but there's a heavy rock and roll influence. Driving into the property, right? Technically we're on the driveway, but as you can see to my left, we've got full Supercross whoops, big old sand bowl turns, all the landscape my dad and I have done, so planting all these trees and the grass. We're right next to a river. It's kind of a unique way to enter a home.
Didn't even get a bike till I was 21, till after I got married was my first bike. And then the friends talked me into coming out to the local track, and first race was a little hair raising, and then the second race was in the top three, and the third race I won, and then by the 9th race, they had me moved up to amateur class, and shortly after that, we went into the pro and raced there ever since, and it's just been in our family for a long time now. And then we got into promoting. We've always built tracks on our properties up in Wyoming, and we always knew we would build a track down here for the kids to play on and for us to relax. In 2006, we bought the property up here. We looked at it for years before, and we've always liked the location with the river and the black rock, and always envisioned doing a little track out here for us to ride on. So in '06 we bought it. In 2009 we came in with our excavation permits, and we raised the entire property up 5 feet to change the flood irrigation patterns in here to make it more efficient, keep the river from flooding the property. And then we designed the first track and started building that. And then over the years, we've just added tens of thousands of tons of sand and topsoil screened with tree mulch mix, kind of a Kodiak mix we call it. And that is what it is today. And then as we watch the guys ride and we play on it, we come up with a little bit different design to make it more efficient for riding. Well, we're always working on the track. I mean, I couldn't even calculate as much time we spend out here, but I bet you we put about 30 hours a week on a regular day, and then if we're doing something out here to play on it, we'll be working day and night.
We don't start with a track design and then go out and build it. You know, and even though we're on flat ground, it's like, well, how do you determine where the track goes? And a lot of it's just feel, you know, where we go and kind of how the land moves. You work with it, and then you just kind of augment or mold it to fit and flow a little bit better. So this lower track it's not an outdoor track and it's not a Supercross track. It's a bit of a hybrid between the two. But, you know, even like our neighbor Garrett Marchbanks, he was putting in lap times the other day at about a 1:34. So, you know, but he has fun. It's like a pump track on steroids with full sand bull turns, and you have your whoop sections and your big rhythms. You've got a couple of floaty jumps like the road gap and the big double. And then you know, you got inside lines, you got off camber turns, you've got these little chicane sections where you've really got to work on getting from rut to rut. That's kind of how it all mixes together, and it's still a work in progress. By no means is it perfect. I wouldn't even say we're close to done yet. We've got a lot more material to put in places, add, come back in with our boulders. So it's moving, you know, but every year it gets a little better, and that's the whole point. So as long as we're still breathing, we're going to keep building.